I just finished knitting a gift knit in the form of a baby bonnet. So in today's Technique Tuesday video, I'll demonstrate my method for blocking a hand knit hat or bonnet. If you'd like to jump right to a specific point in the video, tap or mouse over the video playback area of your screen to reveal the chapter titles and starting points of each section. Blocking is the combination of moisture plus shaping, which is used to achieve the desired finish for your project. Knitted fabric will soften and acquire more drape after it's washed, and the stitches will even out as well. In most cases, the way you care for the knitted item in the future will be identical to how you block it when the item is fresh off the needles. If you intend to machine wash the hat but let it air dry, then wash the hat in your machine. You can use the shaping method demonstrated later in the video when it's time to dry it. If you intend to machine wash and dry, you may want to remove the hat from the dryer while it's still slightly damp and finish it as demonstrated. It's not necessary, but you may get a slightly nicer finish and avoid possible creases, which is helpful if the hat is a gift. If you do not intend to machine wash your hat, then use the hand washing method I will demonstrate next. So the first thing that I do if I am going to wash and block a hat is that I fill up a bowl with warm water, and I usually add just a very small amount of a wool wash like Eucalan. You could use shampoo. What I like about this kind of thing is that you don't have to rinse it. The goal when you are washing and blocking a newly completed item is, yeah, you want to get any dust or anything that may have accumulated on the item, but it's probably not actually dirty. And so the goal is to freshen it up. But mostly you are wanting to lock the stitches and even out your stitch pattern, and you also want the fabric to achieve its final texture and drape. So knitting will relax. That doesn't mean it's going to grow, but it will achieve more drape and the fabric will soften. I just have a countertop salad spinner that I use for small items like hats. You don't have to use this. You can just use any sort of bowl that you have. I just find this handy because then I use it to also help extract some of the extra water later. So for something that's wool, you want warm water. It doesn't have to be cold. Warm is fine. It's actually nice. Wool is not going to have a problem with that. And you want to submerge it under there. Wool likes to hold on to air. Superwash wool doesn't hold on to as much air, but with a standard wool, you will want to let it soak for at least 20 to 30 minutes to really let all the air out and for the fibers to absorb water completely. So I'm going to let this sit here, and it doesn't hurt it to sit, to forget about it and let it sit overnight either. That's fine, but give it at least a good 20 to 30 minutes. All right, it's been at least a half an hour. The water's still a little bit warm, and so I'm going to dump the water out, and then I'm going to extract as much water as I can from the hat. So I have spun the water out of this. You could just squeeze it out. You don't want to wring it. You can roll it up in a towel, squeeze that in order for it to be just not sopping wet anymore. The next step is to find a way to let this dry that gives it sort of the shape of the head rather than lying it flat. You can lie things flat. That's usually what the instructions say, but a lot of times what you'll end up with is a crease line here when it's done. And so I like to avoid that. And the way I do that for hats is I use a balloon. I blow up the balloon so that it fills the inside of the hat, but it's not stretching the hat. You want the head to stretch the hat so that it will fit properly when it goes on the head. You don't want it pre-stretched out because then it will slide down over the recipient's eyes. So I'm just going to blow up this balloon enough to give the inside of this hat some volume. So I'm going to look and see how that works with this particular hat. This is actually a bonnet, a baby bonnet, so it does have a little bit of a point. to it. I'm pretty happy with this as it is. I don't feel like it's stretching the hat at all. So now I'm going to tie the balloon off. So now I want to set it on, I just have a small bowl. You can put it on top of a glass or a teacup, something like that. I just want something that's going to hold the balloon up. If you have a bowl that is rounded enough and it's the right diameter or circumference for the hat, you can use that too. I just find that balloons work really well. Smooth out the sides, and then I can just let it air dry and it will end up looking really nice all the way around. I find this works really well for babies and children's hats. Just because those can be so much smaller and it can be hard to find something around the house that isn't going to stretch the hat out. This is just a styrofoam wig head, and these tend to be smaller than an actual person's head, because the idea is that you're going to put a wig on it and then the wig would fill out how the size of the actual head. So you can use something like this to dry an adult-sized head. You can just put it right on the wig form and it will dry really well. So either sort of system works, whether you want to use something like a balloon or if you have a bowl that is the correct size that you can put the hat around, or something like this. Taking care of hand knits is not difficult, even if the items need to be hand washed. Filling a bowl with warm water takes no more time than tossing the item into a washing machine. Laying the item flat or draping it over a bowl takes no more time than tossing it into a dryer. It isn't any more work, it's just different work. Learning how to properly wash and block your finished items is the key to having really excellent results. If you have any comments or questions about today's video or suggestions for videos you'd like to see in the future, you can leave those down in the comments below or join the discussion in my Ravelry group, Rocks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.